everything in between. Want to join in? Call or text the show at 573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Friday's edition of The Big Show on your Total Sports Station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here. Now we're less than 24 hours away. How are we feeling for tomorrow's game?
It's tomorrow. It's coming soon, and it's going to be a party in Columbia. I don't know that my confidence has gone up or down or any which way in the hours since we last spoke, but the excitement is at an all-time high. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you about my confidence.
Okay.
It's gone up.
Has it?
It's gone up.
I'm just nervous because of the gravity of the game. It's so huge. There's nothing X's and O's that really has me feeling, concerned, but it's just so damn important. And so that the weight of that is crystallizing as the game approaches.
Oh, yeah. Well, give us your predictions here on The Big Show. You can comment on our YouTube channel at KTGR Sports. That's where we are on YouTube. You can also text or call us, 573-875-KTGR. Who you got, Mizzou or Kansas? And also, who you got between the Chiefs and Chargers tonight? Brazil. Yes, still happening.
Nice appetizer.
Yeah. Is this one of the biggest football weekends we've had in Missouri in quite a while? Man.
I mean, it's pretty good. You got a full NFL Sunday coming as well, just like week one happening, but the Chiefs get their game out of the way with a divisional matchup tonight. There's a lot to get to. This is a pretty good long weekend. I mean, technically kind of started last night with Cowboys-Eagles being a very compelling game. And so, let's get it rolling, man. I'm ready.
Let's go. Call or text us at 875-KTGR, Facebook.com/KTGR Big Show, and also on Twitter at KTGR Big Show. Yeah, two big games to start off your weekend as the Chiefs start tonight against the Chargers. Their 2025 season begins in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Only one guy out for the game. That's Jalen Royals, rookie wide receiver, dealing with a knee injury. Omar Norman-Lott, their second-round pick this season at defensive tackle. He's questionable for the game with an ankle issue, so we'll see what the inactives look like. That should come out at about 5:30, it would seem, this afternoon. So looks like we'll find out at that point. Chiefs and Chargers kick off at 7 o'clock tonight, and then tomorrow it's Mizzou, Kansas. Not too many injury updates to give to you on that, except for, Blake Craig's out. He's out for the season. Sam Horn out, extended period of time. But we'll see how the Tigers do against the Jayhawks, renewing that rivalry for the first time since 2011. Kicks off at 2:30. The Yingling Tiger Game Day show begins at 11:30 right here on KTGR tomorrow. You can call or text us at 875-KTGR to get your predictions in. But again, this seems like a weekend that I don't know if we've seen before. If you are a Mizzou fan and a Chiefs fan, first of all, Friday NFL games rarely have happened throughout history. We've seen them more recently here over the last few years. Chiefs played on Black Friday last year, but opening weekend Friday games, not at all normal, which, by the way, next year there won't be one. And it's kind of for an odd reason. It's like a legal reason, according to the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, to the point where where Labor Day is on the calendar, when the NFL season would want to start next year, technically you can't have a Friday NFL game during that time to protect high school and protect college games and things like that. They just have the window to do it this year because Labor Day is so early. So you're not going to see it next year. And the Chiefs, to my knowledge, have never opened the season on this day. And then, to my knowledge, Mizzou, Kansas have never really played at this part of the schedule either. They've always been in November, right? Pretty much most of the season. I mean, we could go back and look, but this is very unique, and I don't know if we've made enough of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. The Friday thing doesn't really faze me that much, Chiefs, because if the NFL could invent an eighth day of the week, they would put a Kansas City Chiefs game on that 8th day, whatever you want to call the additional day they're going to add, but that they'd make the Chiefs play on that day, rest assured. So that part of it, while it is a little bit unique and unusual, it doesn't really feel out of place considering that the Chiefs will play on every holiday and they'll play on every day of the week other than like Tuesday. So that part, not too crazy. But no, I think we've talked a little bit about the fact that this Mizzou-Kansas game coming in the portion of the schedule that it does change the dynamic a little bit. Everything's still on the table for both teams, whereas by the time the game had typically been played, back when it was an annual fixture, you already knew where you stood in the ranks of college football. And it was more about, all right, is this a year where both teams aren't really competing for any grand prizes or any national scope to their season? All right, well, then it's just about winning the rivalry game. Well, at this point, it's still all on the table really for both teams, but in particular here with Mizzou, because of the way that we look at the possibilities for this season. So that to me is definitely an element that juices up Saturday. But throwing the Chiefs there, and it does make for a pretty fun weekend.
And especially with how Mizzou and Kansas come into this year, both with a lot of hope, and how the things have changed in college football to allow more teams more access to the playoff. Teams like Kansas that even in their standing now, they've gotten better as a program. We can all admit that. Lance Leopold's done an excellent job there. And even through that, if it was just a 4-team playoff or still a 2-team BCS, then they'd still be the team that we all know them to be, kind of middling and still going about. But because there are more teams that can make the playoff, and because you can win your conference and just be in, well, then Kansas has that hope now. And Mizzou obviously has that hope. It maybe not as, because their conference is so loaded, you maybe don't think as much about that, but you think about at-larges. You think about building up your standing enough, especially with your schedule and how you have built your program over the last couple of years to have access to this thing. And this is the first real measuring stick for either team. That wasn't the case with this rivalry when it was played as a conference game. So it is very interesting how that plays out there, but it doesn't diminish the importance. Like, you could argue it was more important back then because it was a conference game, because it was later in the season. It is more important to win games in November than it is to win games in September. Technically, generally speaking, I'd argue that it's important to win games whenever the schedule is happening. But generally, you want to be playing your best football by the time November rolls around, by the time you hit Thanksgiving, things like that. I have not felt a diminished importance of this game all weekend, or all week really, here in Columbia. Maybe it's because it's the first one in a while. Like, that is an important element to this too. Like, this was so highly anticipated, and now finally someone gets the higher magnitude of winning this game. And I think the weighting has allowed it to get even higher once someone actually does win it. There's a lot at stake when it comes to that too, just mentally speaking.
Yeah, and I think because of where it is on the calendar is more of a reason that the game matters more. Because in years where, like 2007, sure, you could say that nothing can match, having two top teams in the country, and the winner is very much in play for a national championship bid and the loser isn't. Like, the stakes will never be higher than that. But most years in November, it wasn't like that. A lot of times you might have had 4, 5, 3, 6 wins coming in where, the magnitude was really just about the rivalry then too. This reversal makes it more important. It's not diminished because of its spot on the calendar. It's a bigger deal because everything's still on the table. I legitimately believe that in most cases that you could go back through in the rivalry and look at what was the standing of the two teams coming into that late November matchup. More often than not, it would have been probably more compelling to have happened at the beginning because there's still aspirations on the table. Now, maybe in many of those years there just weren't any aspirations. This year, you have them. It doesn't feel unfounded to have them, but if you lose this game, not only did you lose to your rival, but it feels as though those aspirations might have been a little bit premature, a little bit pie in the sky, if you will. So, it matters from that context as well.
Yeah, because both teams can use this more as a jumping off point Kansas certainly can, since they're the road team and they're playing a team that is better on paper. Let's just be honest about it. If they come in and beat this Mizzou team, then that would be a huge confidence boost, not just from the rivalry aspect, but if they were not rivals at all, then they would feel excellent about what their team was at that point, and then have more probably ability to go and upset more opponents on their schedule to put together a great season. Mizzou, I see it as you almost need to check this box to reach the goals that you want to reach. They wouldn't be out of reach entirely if you lose it, but it obviously wouldn't feel good. And it would not make fans feel good about Alabama or South Carolina or any SEC road game. Any of them. Pick them. I would feel very apprehensive about Mizzou going on the road and beating anybody if they can't win this game.
Yeah, the aspirations are going to really take a hit. I mean, it's not to say that a loss couldn't then propel you to say, hey, here's what we need to fix, and then you go and do it. You could think about like South Carolina in 2013 sort of serving that role, but it is not that Kansas can't be better than we think they are. I actually do think Kansas is better than most people think they are, because I don't know, and again, it's not always the transitive property that rules all, but when you think about the way that they handled Fresno State and the way that Fresno State then went and handled another FBS opponent in Georgia Southern, like all we've seen from Kansas is dominance through 2 games, and they have played one team that has shown the ability to then go and dominate another FBS foe. So like Kansas might be pretty darn good, but for Mizzou, you do have the feeling that there are other teams on the schedule that at least on paper rate a little bit more prominently. South Carolina does with their, national ranking in the top 15 or so right now. Alabama, even after their loss to Florida State, would still qualify in that category. And I think probably most people think pretty highly of Oklahoma too. And you know that that's a game you go on the road. Same thing with Auburn. So for Mizzou, this is not the most talented opponent you'll face. And it may not even be in the top 4 or 5. It may be. But just that factor of it, knowing that there's a lot more of a hill to climb after tomorrow's game, would say that if you can't win tomorrow's game, we would then be probably not wrong to question a lot about what's possible for the season and have to probably lower our expectations and our hopes rather significantly. And I'm not ready to do that on September the 6th. I'm just not.
There's a lot of teams that are not ready to do that, but it might just have to happen if you have a loss like that. And that's generally speaking for teams that maybe have games on their schedule like this. I'd be fascinated to see how like Iowa and Iowa State fans feel about their game in the context of their full season, because that's maybe the most similar thing to this. They've played that game for years and years and years, but it hasn't been a conference game for a while, and still fans are very much in tune to it, and they make sure that their team knows the importance of it year in and year out. And I'd be interested to see how both teams use that as either a springboard or whether it deadens their season at all if they're losing that game. That's the best comparison that I can think of at this point for this one here. And if this rivalry continues, like if they add more games to it, right now there's only 4 on the books, and after next year there isn't another one until we're into the 30s of this 21st century. So it's going to take a while. I really hope that they add more games to it and they find a concrete place on the schedule for it to be. I'd like it as the second week of the season or the last week of the season, one of the two.
And I just don't think it'll ever be the last week of the season, because those are always conference games.
Well, not always. Not for everybody in the SEC.
Who is playing a non-con? Well, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. South Carolina, Clemson, is one. Florida State is one. Yeah, that is accurate with that. Would the SEC cooperate and allow Missouri to do it? Is there a factor of, the SEC and Big Ten seem to be flirting with this idea of a kind of official/unofficial arrangement with one another, but the Big 12 with that, you think about the TV partnerships. The Big 12 is pretty heavy in ESPN as well. Is that still the case? Or
yeah, that's
kind of
true.
spread
They've got Fox in as well.
Right.
They
So
have it in a few different baskets there.
Which, of course, Big Ten does too. I mean, Big Ten's got CBS right at this point. So there's
And
there may be
NBC.
ways to make that happen.
Lots of places.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess the idea of if both sides would want to lock it in as an annual, so then the conference could plan around it and say, all right, if we know it's going to be there every year, we can maybe work around that versus, if it's just this on again, off again thing, that's not necessarily going to work. So I think we'd probably be a long way away from that happening, but I would support it. Oh, absolutely. I would, because it's always football weather in late November. You know what I mean? There is something about, as much as I can talk up how it is from like a, hey, everything's still on the table perspective, more of a important game this week, it would be pretty fun in November too.
Imagine last year's snow game being Mizzou, Kansas.
Against Kansas. Yeah. No kidding.
Something else, right? I would love that. It would take a lot of planning. It would take several different parties to agree to it, but there are way too many decisions being made in college football that don't benefit. As Eli Drinkwitz says, they don't tend to benefit the players and the fans as much. So I don't have hope for that. Like, this is the most likely part of the schedule that Mizzou can have this game, and that's fine. Like, I would support them having it the second week of the season going forward also. But either way, it's at least great to have it back. And again, the team that wins the first one, with how long it's taken to have this renewal, gets even a little bit more juice. And then the one that loses it gets even further down than maybe they would, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger contrast
can't handle
this year.
That.
Yeah.
Can't handle that, man. We gotta win this game.
I know.
I don't even know. It's going to be tough. It would just be so difficult to get back up off the mat. And, I'll make this comparison. It's not apples and apples by any means, because I am so ingrained in everything going on with Mizzou. But you remember kind of how I was reacting when the St. Louis Blues got knocked out of the playoffs in that final game this past spring, and the way that it happened in Game 7 with, 2 goals scored at the very end to tie the game, and then they lose in overtime.
Yeah.
And I've spent the whole summer, like, anytime anyone brings up the Blues as an entity, I'm like, I don't really want to talk about them. I'm just not ready.
Well, problem September, like, you're getting close to being ready.
No, I know. And like, the hockey season will come, and I'll be able to, I'll be like, all right, let's watch some hockey.
Yeah.
Mizzou losing to Kansas. We're going to come in Monday, and it's like, what do you want me to talk about the rest of the season still? I mean, this is important. This game's got to be a win. There's just no way. There's no bones about it. You just got to win this game.
875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text to tell us what you think will happen. Adam texting in, Hardy will outscore the Chicken Hawks.
That would be look, that can happen. I mean,
that can happen.
This dynamic rushing attack could blossom this week. Hardy, Perbula, offensive line, everybody in sync. It could happen. Kansas hasn't really given up much on the ground yet. They haven't seen a rushing attack like Missouri's, but just, giving the context, one reason that I continue to say this game's going to be closer than people think is I think it's going to be a feeling out process early where it doesn't go that way for Missouri on the ground. They're going to have to, it's going to be some 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and then you're going to be in some third down scenarios where, to keep the line moving, to keep the chains moving, Bo Perbula is going to have to make some plays. I'm not saying he won't. I have a lot of confidence in him. I just think if it plays out that way, where Hardy is just the best player on the field and nobody can stop him, oh, it's going to be so fun. Like that, it's possible. It's in the range of outcomes. I just wonder if Kansas, if we're not giving enough credit to their run defense and how they might be able to contain him, at least early. Hardy feels like the type of player that as a game gets going and it moves deeper into the third and the fourth quarter and he continues to be physical against you, can he wear you down? That's maybe more the way I see him making his impact than it's just like shot out of a cannon to begin the game.
Call or text us, 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. We'll give our predictions coming up around 5:05 for this game. But again, it's such an interesting weekend because of how early in the season it is, how both Mizzou and the Chiefs are playing games that, look, we know the importance of Mizzou, Kansas. The Chiefs play an important game tonight. It's not just the opening game, but like they've opened on special nights before as being Super Bowl champions. They've hosted the Thursday night opener, and 2 years ago it was against the Lions. They lost it, but that was an NFC game. It didn't hurt them that much. They still went on to have a good season and won the championship the next year. They beat the Ravens at home. That was a game that looked like a little more important because it's an AFC opponent, a team that might meet you in the championship game later, but also not a divisional game. This is a divisional game to start out the season in a neutral site. Like, you have to have one of your best games of the season right away, I think, to grab this divisional game and be able to put it under your belt. That way you can have a step up against presumably one of those main challengers to you in the division this year. Like, it's important tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know. You sound a little more confident than me, maybe. I think the Chiefs will be okay, but it's another game that's going to be very close. So this could be a weekend where we're just kind of gritting our teeth the entire time we're watching these local teams.
It is. I don't know why, but I have felt over the last couple of days or so growing confidence in both Mizzou and the Chiefs this weekend. Gotta say,
a state of calm, would you say?
Calm
before the storm?
Yes and no, but just falling back on what these four teams essentially are that we're watching this weekend most closely, and how the matchup should play out. And I just think Mizzou and the Chiefs both have decided advantages. Not to say that they will absolutely go out there and dominate their games, because the execution level still needs to be there, and that's all certainly an unknown at the college level, less unknown at the NFL level, but anything can happen in the NFL. So I still have growing confidence in what these two teams are in relation to their opponents. And yeah, when we get to the second hour, I'll probably have some favorable predictions coming up for that. Certainly in relation to point spreads and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to hear.
Yeah. So if you've got your predictions, give us your score predictions here at 875 KTGR for both the Chiefs and Chargers tonight. Mizzou, Kansas tomorrow. Tell us your thoughts on those games as we get ready for them here. And we'll also get the thoughts of Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com as he joins us for Sports from a Vegas Perspective with this first full weekend of college and NFL football to get locked in on in your jurisdiction of legality. He joins us next on The Big Show, KTGR.
The Big Show with Andy and Brendan continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hey, it's Andy and Brendan with Underdog Fantasy. Chiefs tonight start out the season, and what better way to celebrate than winning cash on Underdog by cashing in on those great Chiefs performances. And Brendan, what are you cooking up?
I have an Underdog entry for tonight that, if it wins, will make me a legend. I was looking into some of the defensive trends from last season for the Chargers and Chiefs both. The Chiefs tended to give up a lot to opposing tight ends. So I'm going higher than 4.5 receptions for Will Dissly, which is a big-time scorcher multiplier. And then on the other side, I'm doing the same thing with Isaiah Pacheco, who had a 5-reception game early last season before his injury. Higher than 4.5 receptions tonight against a Chargers defense that gave up a lot of them to the running back position last year is another scorcher multiplier. I just combined the two of them, Andy, and that is my entry on Underdog for Friday night.
Oh, that one could be very nice. So if you want to win cash like that, just play on Underdog. It's easy. You can download the app, choose your favorite players, go higher or lower on their stats, and if you get your picks right, you could win up to 5,000 times your money, and it's so easy to play. You can play right here in Missouri. So download the Underdog app and sign up with our promo code KTGR to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code KTGR. Be one of the millions of fans that have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Must be 18 or older and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Buckeye is fired up for Tiger football as Mizzou takes on the Kansas Jayhawks September 6th. Gear up with unbeatable deals on everything you need for tailgating, fall essentials, and all things farm, ranch, auto, home, and pet. Join the Buckeye Buyers Club for even more savings and keep the winning spirit going all season long. Join us for our live broadcast September 5th, 3300 Paris Road, Columbia, 11 to 1 p.m. Buckeye, your farm, ranch, auto, home, pet, and outdoor living destination. Go Tigers!
Drove your new Defender, 63. Got in a fender bender with an SUV. No need to shout, don't go crazy. Just get your phone out. Call FPP. They do all the work with your insurance company. 1, call the number. 2, take it in. 3, get your car back like new again. Take it from me, they make it hassle-free. You can't go wrong with the easy 3. Just a 1, 2, 3 with FPP. FPPBodyShop.com.
It's late. You're folding laundry. Barefoot. The room is quiet, except for the soft hum of the dryer. And then you feel it, a tickle across your toe. You look down. Nothing. But something saw you first. It's not loud. It doesn't crawl across ceilings like a movie monster. It hides, waits, strikes. The brown recluse, Missouri's 8-legged nightmare, a venomous, violin-shaped menace who seems to have really taken a liking to your shoes, your closet, your bed. But not if Steve has anything to say about it. Call Steve's Pest Control. Steve's will treat the areas recluses love the most and give that recluse the boot. And no, not the one you tried smushing it with. Steve and his team don't just spray and pray, they slay.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Discover, explore, and soak in the views of the incredible landscapes that make up the last frontier, Alaska. Experience the diverse culture and rich history as we cruise the Pacific coast and explore the wilds of Denali, Glacier Bay, and beyond. Join Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel September 9th at 6:30 p.m. at the Courtyard Marriott in Columbia for an informational meeting. Alaska, the last frontier, and it's waiting for you. To RSVP and learn more, go to ZimmerCommunications.com.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
Yeah, this stands to be one of the biggest football weekends in Missouri in quite a while here. Chiefs tonight opening up the season. Divisional game against the Chargers in Brazil. And then Mizzou, Kansas tomorrow. And then, of course, a full slate of college and NFL football to get to as well. And here to talk with us about it is Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com, sports from a perspective. Find him on Twitter at Rob Veno Sports and go to WagerTalk.com to read his great stuff. Robbie, it is a nice weekend, I'm sure, for folks in your business.
Busy for sure, Andy. I mean, today has been a whirlwind, as most Fridays will be from now through the end of March Madness, I guess, 6-7 months from now. But yeah, I mean, we love it, so we do it. And boy, tomorrow, it doesn't feature the top 10 style matchups that we had last week, but there's a lot of good ones out there that are kind of sneaky under the radar, including the one in your backyard in Como with Missouri against Kansas.
Certainly is. Let's start there. Mizzou about a 6.5-point favorite. Look, neither team has shown anything on film and probably anything, stats wise to show that their standing before the season should be changing at all. Kansas has handled opponents pretty easily themselves against some weaker competition. Mizzou had a blowout against an FCS team. So now as both teams have that step up in competition, what do you expect when the number is where it is, and both teams also have that, very unique rivalry aspect to a matchup like this?
Yeah, I mean, having lived it for the 4 years that my son was there, you understand what this rivalry is. I don't think across the nation they really understand how heated this one is. But fundamentally, guys, on the field, I think it comes down to the small things, and I would favor Missouri in this matchup. I think they're better suited to, I won't say stop, because I don't think you stop either, but perhaps better contain the dual threat quarterback, Jalen Daniels for Kansas. Bo Prabula is really an unknown at this point in time. Broke off a nice run against an FCS opponent earlier this season, but I don't know that Kansas fully is aware of how good he is. So I think the running aspect of the quarterbacks here may actually favor Mizzou. I think the dual threat quarterback, even though he's the younger and the less experienced of the two at home, I think it favors them. Secondly, I just think Mizzou's a better tackling team. Kansas, for what it's worth, fundamentally on defense is not, you see a lot of tackles get run through. And again, I used this phrase earlier, but I don't think that a lot of the nation understands how good and physical Missouri is in the trenches and on the defensive side of the football. That's not a trait that Kansas possesses, defensive physicality. So I think you can win there. Lance Leipold, a very good coach. I just don't think that this defense, since he's been there, has really excelled as far as those attributes are concerned. And that's what wins football games, right? Play in the trenches. It's not the sexy stuff. It's not the stuff you find in the box score, but it's the stuff that'll win for you. As long as Missouri can avoid any dangerous turnovers, guys, that might help Kansas a little bit, I think they win the game. And let's stay away from personal fouls. Let's stay away from long pass interference calls, whatever. If they can play a fairly clean game, I think they're the more talented team and they should win.
Does anything in particular, Robbie, stand out to you about the number being around 6.5? And it seems to be getting some moderately even action on both sides, but just the way you kind of looked at that one and really a lack of movement throughout the week in any significant way.
Yeah, guys I've talked to in the business, Brendan, aren't necessarily rushing to the window to play this game in particular. I think the great unknown, again, and we talked about it, is the quarterbacking of Mizzou. Maybe 3 weeks down the road from now, if he continues to play well, all of a sudden he'll be a household name. But right now he's not. People don't even know that he was a backup for Penn State, for what it's worth. And so I think that probably scares some people away from the Missouri side. Let's see how he performs in a big game. And obviously the more known commodity where public money is concerned would be the Kansas Jayhawks and their quarterback. So I think that, that's probably the type of stuff that scares people away. 6.5 is a nice number because it stays under the key of 7. You probably get even money fan base wise. So I don't see it moving, actually, guys. I don't think it will move, but I think Missouri is probably a decent play at that price.
Rob Veno of wagertalk.com with us here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Let's go to NFL here, Robbie, and go with the Chiefs tonight. I'm a little bit surprised by the number itself. It's a neutral site game. The Chiefs are 3-point favorites. I know technically, usually the Chargers play them pretty tough. Divisional game. It's an important game for both sides, and pretty wild that it happens in a setting like this. How do you see it, though? Because with Mahomes, again, without Rashee Rice, but everyone else in the receiving core appears to be relatively healthy. How do you see this offense moving against what the Chargers have defensively?
Yeah, I played this game, guys. It was a client release of mine for folks at wagertalk.com that subscribe. And I played the Chiefs. And now you can't get this number anymore, right? I played it a couple of days ago. Chiefs team total over 23.5. It's since moved to 24.5. As the game total creeps up, so do the team totals. And now it's creeped across that very key number of 24. A lot of teams, will land on 24. But I thought that under that price, when it was available earlier in the week, and for those who do know, you can always get an alternative line. You can buy that 1 point. You'll pay a bigger vig, but you can still get 23.5. One of the reasons you just mentioned, Andy, I just all offseason long, what I got from Patrick Mahomes, what I got from Andy Reid, what I got from the Chiefs offensively is we're going to push vertically down the field this year. We're not going to be this dink and dunk type of team. Our main focus is the offensive side of the football, where they upgraded with Josh Simmons at left tackle. Again, many don't know that if he wasn't injured at Ohio State, he probably would have been a top 5 pick. So putting him out there, even as a rookie, immediately makes the offensive line better than what it was in the Super Bowl, right? So I think the offensive line has been upgraded. And again, they played the Chargers twice last year, and it may look impressive that the Chargers held the Chiefs under 20 twice, but you have to go back. And again, Andy, you alluded to it, and look at the injury situation for KC in both those games. One was without Pacheco and Marquise Brown. Another one was without Marquise Brown. But if you're going to push the ball vertically, and it doesn't mean throw 40-yard passes every time, it means, the deep intermediate and the long stuff where you can stretch your defense. Having Brown and Worthy together is outrageously good. And if Patrick Mahomes, if I'm reading it right, and he's that committed to completing balls and scaring teams downfield and getting the offense back to where we are accustomed to seeing a Chiefs offense. I think it can happen here tonight. The Chargers, on the other side, if you're just looking at the game itself, the Rashawn Slater injury was huge. I know Joe Walt's a good tackle. You can move him over to left tackle, but it does kind of change the offensive line outlook a little bit. And we're still not so sure that Jim Harbaugh has the exact Omari and Hampton, we'll see, but the receiving crew is still in question where LA is concerned. So I think Kansas City probably finds their way to at least 24 points tonight.
And then, Robbie, like that's a game that happens tonight on a Friday, and then we get a whole slate of college football tomorrow before NFL Sunday. The college football slate, obviously, we're hyped up about the border war in mid-Missouri. There's not a ton of other marquee games. Is there one that stands out to you, though? Is it Michigan taking on Oklahoma? Is it Iowa State? Is there something about that college slate that you can get us fired up about, aside from the game we've been focused on all week in mid-Missouri?
Well, I'll just touch on the couple that you mentioned there real quick, Brendan. Obviously, where Oklahoma and Michigan is concerned. Now, granted, I'm somebody that was bullish on the Oklahoma season win total, played it over 6.5. It just, again, that's my, betting affection for John Mateer, the quarterback transfer from Washington State. Again, not really a household name. Not a lot of people on the East Coast stay up till 1:30 in the morning to watch that West Coast football. But for fans who know, Mateer is a pro prospect at quarterback, and then to have Jade Knott in the backfield. The Oklahoma side improved defensively last year. I think they're improved in that up-tempo offense this year. The question mark in that game is, you got a kid fresh out of high school, Bryce Underwood, getting paid, $12 million to go play quarterback in Norman, Oklahoma in his first road game. That's tough. I don't know exactly what to expect of him. I think the price tag is a little high. If you go back in the summer, guys, when these lines were first released, Oklahoma was -1. Now they're up to 5.5. A lot of money for the Oklahoma side. I don't know that it's the right time to get in, but I do think that this is a huge, huge game for them to reestablish some of that name brand that Oklahoma used to carry. Let me give you a couple of under-the-radar ones. Illinois goes to Duke. Manny Diaz has Duke, like I say, under the radar here. They made it to a bowl game last year. Mississippi slaughtered them. That was probably to be expected at the time, that a backup quarterback. But now, with Darian Mensah, the transfer from Tulane at quarterback, and the way Manny Diaz's defense is playing, it could be a little bit scary for Illinois, who was a team that plenty of observers touted highly in the preseason and think a lot of. So we'll see if Illinois can escape Durham. One that I did play, and one that I would say, again, flies under the radar. Virginia's going to play NC State. Virginia, for what it's worth, their new quarterback is a transfer from North Texas, Chandler Morris at North Texas. They just winged it around in an air raid offense. He's a great thrower of the football. Virginia hasn't had a great thrower of the football since during this tenure, right? So Tony Elliott, I'm sorry, guys. Tony Elliott was the name I was trying to reach, head coach of Virginia. They looked great last week, and I know it was an FCS opponent. You can't read too much into it, but their offense is so diverse this year, and it has explosive game breakers they haven't had in a while. Virginia NC State, I think, is going over that number of 53.5, 54 fairly easily. So look out for that one. Baylor SMU is one people could probably get excited about. I like the Baylor side, to tell you the truth, guys. Auburn, what happened last week, Baylor actually did the right thing, right? Dave Aranda came out and said, you know what, your top 5 wide receiving tandem, Coleman and the kid from Georgia Tech, they're not going to beat us. And they didn't. But Auburn said, okay, we're not going to let us beat you through the air. We'll use our offensive line and crush you on the ground. And Baylor did get crushed on the ground. I just don't know that SMU brings those same attributes offensively to the table. Kevin Jennings is a dual threat. Yes, at quarterback, I don't think they have the same type of offensive line. And Baylor was up and down the field against Auburn last week. So I think Baylor's the right side. And last but not least, I'll close with this. Late night, for those who are staying up and want to make a little more late night, I think UCLA. The 2025 bio seems to already have been written on UCLA. They stink. Nico stinks. What was he trying to get paid for at Tennessee? Deshaun Foster can't coach, et cetera, et cetera. Utah's a good team, guys. Utah's a really good team. Top 10 offensive line. A couple of guys will go in the first round off of that. Oh, well. And of course, Devin Dampier, the QB from New Mexico, makes all the difference. So I think UCLA gets it. They're only laying 2.5 in a bounce back. I think they're a good side.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com with us on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. So a lot of college insights there, which is awesome. With the NFL side and the rest of the slate, a huge highlight of it is Ravens-Bills to open up the season, two huge AFC contenders. Most of them preview it as an AFC championship game preview almost. I don't know if Chiefs will probably still be there. But the Ravens and Bills being played in Buffalo, that's obviously important there. Interesting that the Bills are still getting a point with that dynamic, though. Do you feel that's right, or how do you kind of view it?
Well, I think the NFL schedule making is always good for a laugh or two. They placed Baltimore right back in the place where they ended their season last year. And with Mark Andrews dropping a football in the end zone and with Lamar Jackson playing a great game aside from 2 turnovers. So we get this rematch again. They're probably even matched, Andy. Maybe there's not enough recognition for the stadium and the way it is in Buffalo and the way it'll be in an isolated night game. But I still think, and the injury report comes into this a little bit. And I won't go into any deep detail, but the injury report, the secondary for Buffalo is scary. I think Lamar might have a big passing game here. I think Baltimore can do some things. Probably another high-scoring affair between these two. Both quarterbacks are so good. I think the one game real quick that probably flies under the radar that also involves two teams. I know you guys did your divisional predictions, and I don't know where you landed in the NFC West. I don't remember, but LA is going to play Houston, the LA Rams against Houston. In a game, and Brendan, I'll shock you, buddy. It's totaled at 43.5, but I played under 43.5. Both defensive lines, outstanding. It's almost against my religion, Andy, to play under, but I did here. The Texans defensive line, guys, against this Ram offensive line, and with Matthew Stafford with the bad back, they better protect him because the whole game could hinge on whether they do or don't. Houston's got the top secondary in the NFL, or had it last year, allowed the lowest completion percentage, and vice versa. If we go to the other side of the football, Houston's offensive line, some think it's the worst in football. Get rid of Laramie Tunsil, couldn't block with him. How are they going to block without him? Receiving core is a little banged up. Christian Kirk's out. You don't have Joe Mixon, your number one running back. It just seems like one of those games where D'Amico Ryans against Sean McVay, and they've seen each other before when Ryans was the defensive coordinator for San Francisco. Seems like a real good chess match that stays under 43.5.
Very interesting. Love to get all of those thoughts from Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com, sports from a Vegas perspective, on Twitter at Rob Veno Sports, and go to WagerTalk.com to see all of his great stuff. Robbie, thanks for coming on the Big Show as always. Enjoy this full weekend of football, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for letting me ramble on, guys. Take care. Have a good weekend. We love it. That's awesome. Appreciate you. Big Show's on at 444 KTGR on the KTGR app. I didn't even have to prompt Rob for like a free pick. He just gave us like 5. That was great. Loved it.
Yeah, he's fired up. I asked him because, there aren't a ton of marquee, like top 10 matchups. We had 3 top 10 matchups in college football in week 1. Week 2 doesn't set up quite the same way. And yet he found a lot of different ways to get us excited about Saturday. So go and check out that in your jurisdiction of legality from Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com. Onto the bus coming up next, the spit that began the NFL season. We'll get to that.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Ben Hermes, and this live local sports center is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Well, it is finally the eve of the border showdown between the Missouri Tigers and the Kansas Jayhawks. This will be the 121st meeting all time between the two foes, but the first since 2011. Mizzou comes into the game 1-0 on the season, while Kansas enters 2-0. The renewal of this historic rivalry is set to kick off from Columbia at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. And the Kansas City Chiefs will kick off their 2025 season tonight, taking on the Los Angeles Chargers from Sao Paulo, Brazil. A final injury report has not came out yet. Defensive lineman Omar Norman Lott is still listed as questionable for the game. Kansas City's quest for Lombardi number 5. It starts tonight in South America. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. And the Cardinals are back in action today after having yesterday off. hosting the Giants. St. Louis is 1 game below 500 and 5.5 games back of the final NL wildcard spot. Michael McGreevy will get the start on the mound. First pitch is at 7:15. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Steve's Pest Control. Mosquitoes are not just unpleasant and annoying, but they can potentially be dangerous. They can transmit diseases like Zika virus, heatworm, and West Nile virus. Call Steve's Pest Control today or contact stevespestcontrol.com.
I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson. Looks like we do have some light rain moving out of the way throughout the rest of the evening tonight. By tomorrow morning, temperatures are going to be starting off in the upper 40s, so a little bit of a chilly one, but you don't have to worry about any sort of rainfall cloud cover for that kickoff. Mizzou versus KU going to be a great afternoon for that game. Temperatures in the mid-70s by the afternoon hours. Looks like after that, we'll be staying dry with a gradual warm-up on the way. I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Truman the Tiger. M-I-Z. Marching Mizzou. And of course,
To the house! To the house!
the traditions of Mizzou football live here. Join us Saturday. The Tigers renew their rivalry against the Jayhawks. Our coverage begins at 12:30 on your home for Mizzou football.
Why stop now?
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for ProfitShares.com. This is a great weekend to get started with it, with all the football that'll be happening. If you've got takes on who's going to win in college football, pro football, all this weekend, put that knowledge to the test. Go to ProfitShares.com and show everybody how smart you are when it comes to this great sport. It's completely free to play. You just sign up. They'll give you a starter's amount of credits to use so that you can make your predictions here and there. And then the more you get things right, the more you can build up those credits. And again, it's completely risk-free. You're not putting anything in, but if you are able to build up enough of those credits, you can use them to redeem for gift cards for your favorite restaurants or charitable donations for your favorite causes, all at ProfitShares.com. So a great way to stay engaged this football season, show everybody how much you know. So what are you waiting for? Go to ProfitShares.com. That's PROPHET shares.com.
Hyperbaric oxygen therapy. You might know nothing about it, but if you ever need it, you'll be thankful that Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center offers it. It increases oxygen delivery to your bloodstream and tissue, accelerating healing and reducing the risk of complications in hard-to-heal wounds. Find out if hyperbaric oxygen therapy is right for you and schedule an appointment. Visit boone.health to learn more.
Real healing starts here. Boone Hospital, Boone Healing Center.
Hello there. This is Quentin with JQ's On High in Jefferson City. We are looking for skilled and passionate hospitality team members who can bring both front of house charm and back of house know-how to our unique food service operation. We offer competitive pay plus tips, a fun work environment, and we welcome your creative input on our made from scratch menu. If you are dependable, love great food and great people, apply in person today at JQ's On High and be a part of something special here in Central Missouri.
Columbia just got armed. Minutemen Defense is your new destination for guns, ammo, and tactical gear that means business. From holsters and body armor to night vision and magazines, if you need it, they've got it. Plus, the cheapest ammo in town, guaranteed. Located right off I-70 and Rangeline for fast, easy access, locally owned, veteran approved, built for serious shooters. Minutemen Defense. Get there. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com.
Shangri-La is proud to be a part of every black and gold home game this season at the Zimmer Tiger Tailgate. Swing by our tent to play games, win prizes, and hang out with Missouri's top team of cannabis aficionados. Want to join the fun? Pick up your free Tiger Tailgate tickets at any Shangri-La location. Then come find us on game day. We'll be bringing the energy, the prizes, and the community spirit that makes Tiger football unforgettable. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
So, again, the NFL is unrivaled And last night showed you why. You didn't even have to see a single snap for the NFL to show you why. It is unrivaled. Spitting before the game. Jalen Carter, what's going on, man?
Oh my goodness. And I mean that was obviously not a great look. It was ejection worthy, I would agree. Spit on an opponent. It was fascinating to watch them come out of the lightning delay later and say, we have unearthed additional video. Dak spit first.
Yeah.
I mean, the drama surrounding that game, which, by the way,
what
if you found a jurisdiction of legality and you had the over? Heartbreaker.
Yeah, tough.
It was 41 points at halftime, and it couldn't get to 47 and a half or whatever it was. So that was something. But yeah, the spit stuff, you got the rivalry, you got CD Lamb turning into Stonehands Dan. I don't know what the heck that was. He had 3 over the final few minutes of that game that should have been hauled in. And he does that, dude. I have him in fantasy every single year. So I watch a lot of Cowboys. There will be times where, and he still racks up his fantasy points like he did last night, but there will be times where he just drops it inexplicably. And it happened 3 times last night. Cowboys should have won the game. I mean, they really should have been able to win that game. But even though they came in as a big underdog, and I didn't think they'd be so close, they left a lot on the table there, and it was largely CD. I thought Dak on that final drive, I thought he looked great. I thought he was putting it right where, only his guy could get it multiple times, and nobody was helping him out. But the spit stuff to start it off, that is, to your point, it's unrivaled. The NFL immediately reminding us why they do own the calendar all season long, all year long. That started off with a bang.
Before even the first snap. I mean, what are we doing here? That is
so. Is that a special teams play, and then they come in like they did the kickoff or whatever, and then they came in, and that's when it happened?
There was an injury, so there was a bit of a delay,
right.
And then that allowed for like Dak to almost lure Jalen Carter over.
Yeah, he sort of goaded him into it a little bit.
But look, they always get the retaliator. They don't get the instigator. I know it's not fair.
You know what? But the instigation of, like, he spit in his direction. I didn't think anything that Dak did was over the line, but he did. Like, when Jalen Carter to have this sort of reputation that he may respond to you and you might be able to egg him on, every team on the Eagles' schedule the rest of the way is going to do that and try not spit necessarily, but they are going to try and rile up Jalen Carter because they saw that it worked in the first week of the season.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll see.
Under the bus.
And look, I know Mike Florio tweeted out, that could mean an additional suspension afterwards for Jalen Carter. I got no, it won't.
That was enough. I think that was appropriate to eject him, but I don't think you need to suspend the guy.
They got the Chiefs next week too. There's no way. The NFL won't do that. That
would be pretty funny,
happen.
actually.
It
shouldn't happen, but I would laugh if only for the takes that people would deliver.
That
if it did.
Yeah. Look, it's finally here. I can remember when they announced that this series was coming back in 2020. It's kind of like right before, we were coming on the show here and got to react to it almost in real time. Like, now it's here. And there are several fans that will call this the most important game of the season. And look, while there are SEC games to be played eventually against more high-quality opponents, you will welcome in more talented teams to Memorial Stadium eventually this year. Like, I can't argue with those fans who are saying this is the most important game this season this week. I can't argue with them, because I'm not going to take that away from you. We need this back in our lives wholeheartedly. Like, it needs to be a regular thing every single year. I hope eventually they come to an agreement that can allow that to happen. But let's just be glad that this is back. It might hurt a lot tomorrow, but it also might be very, very fun.
Yeah, it shouldn't hurt tomorrow. It might be uncomfortable for 3.5 hours because I do think it'll be a close game. But Missouri wins this game. I mean, they have to win this game, right? I don't know what I'll do if they don't win this game. But you're right. It's a rivalry that needs to be played. And I think the 14 years or whatever it's been since is definitely amping up the excitement around this one. Because it's been something that we probably always knew was eventually going to happen, but for so long you just kind of put it out of your mind, knowing Nothing I can do to change it. I want him to play every year, but that's not my say. I don't have a choice in the matter. But now that it's here, we're all fired up to see it back.
And if they do extend it more, home sites. I get it. Arrowhead was nice to have those games when they had them. It I'm sure added to the impact of that 07 game, and just by happenstance, there was just this excellent thing that they backed into. But now, like, both teams upgraded their stadiums for a reason. Like, keep these in Lawrence and in Columbia, Missouri, if you get more of them. And right now, all the ones that are on the books are going to be that. But yeah,
right,
that is going to grow the game some more. So, who you got? You're gonna have to tell us that coming up in a few minutes here, Brendan. Scores and everything else.
I got a score.
You got a score? All right, good. Get our scores in here coming up after this. We'll also get our scores in for Chiefs Chargers tonight as they open up the season with a very important game in division at 5:25. We'll talk about that. And then our picks of the week are back at 5:45. Don't miss that here on The Big Show.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tigers' home. Big old service is Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest. Show me state coverage wherever you go. We've got you covered at Big O.
School's back. Schedules are packed, and the last thing you need is a list of home repairs. So reclaim your weekends with Bags Homeworks, the fastest, most affordable handyman service in mid-Missouri. Whether it's mounting that new TV, fixing leaky faucets, or replacing a ceiling fan, Bags has you covered. No job's too small, and no wait is too long. Visit Bags Homeworks on Facebook for monthly giveaways and awesome prizes. For more, visit bagshomeworks.com. Bags Homeworks, getting your to-do list done.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bank, and we are about 2 hours away from kickoff for the second game of the NFL season. The Chiefs and the Chargers doing battle in Brazil. Kansas City will look to keep rolling against LA. Chiefs have won 7 straight against the Chargers. 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey is listed as questionable for Sunday's opener with the Seahawks. He did not practice as he continues to deal with a calf injury. Micah Parsons is listed as questionable. He did practice for the Packers today. Even with his questionable status, Coach Matt LaFleur says he can still see that superstar speed from Parsons.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a freak, so that certainly it stands out when he's out there.
Broncos linebacker Dre Greenlaw is out for Sunday's opener against the Titans due to a thigh injury. The Bills have put kicker Tyler Bass in injured reserve. Recently signed Matt Prater is expected to kick on Sunday. The Eagles have signed defensive end Zadarius Smith. Saints say defensive end Chase Young and guard Trevor Penning are both out for Sunday's opener against the Cardinals. Baseball, the Cubs winners over the Nationals 11-5 at the U.S. Open. Carlos Alcaraz has reached the finals after taking out Novak Djokovic in straight sets.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
From Faro,
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush,
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
and Arrowhead,
Touchdown! Kansas City.
to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Well, the big football weekend across mid-Missouri is nearly upon us. And over the next hour on The Big Show, we're getting you set for it. Coming up in just a few minutes, it's Who You Got for Saturday afternoon on Faroe Field. Mizzou versus Kansas, the renewal of the border war. We will put our score predictions out there into the ether. And then at 5:25, we're doing the same thing for tonight's matchup in Sao Paulo as the Chiefs take on the Chargers in an AFC West matchup to open up the NFL season. Chiefs featured as a small favorite in that game. Who you got for Chiefs Chargers coming up at 5:25, and then we'll get out of here on our picks of the week. As last week, Andy and I performed a little bit better than we did previously to even up the season series against the producers. So tune in for the remainder of the show for lots of football talk. 573-875-5847 to call or text us with your score predictions for Mizzou and the Chiefs. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
Sure, the nerves are starting to set in now for Mizzou, Kansas, starting tomorrow at 2:30. Tigers 6.5-point favorites. I still think that's the right number, and it will probably be close for 3 quarters. But I think Mizzou pulls away in the fourth with their ground game, with their defense, and ultimately the fact that they'll be at home gives them a better boost than they would if they were in Lawrence. Don't ask me how the game in Lawrence will go next year, but worry about that next year, obviously. I think they get this one here, and we'll see all the aftermath of that as this rivalry gets renewed, and we need more games. There are 4 on the books for the next 10-ish years. Let's get more on the books going forward. Chiefs open the season tonight in Brazil against the Chargers, and this is an important game for them. Divisional matchup. Chargers have played them close last few years, but last year the Chiefs went to L.A. and got a 7-point victory. It felt close, but still got enough to cover that spread, and it's only a 3-point spread here as well. I do think the Chiefs are able to cover that also going forward, and we talked to Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com. He believes their offense should be able to get to a requisite number to help out the team total, so we'll see if the Chiefs can do that in Brazil tonight at 7 o'clock. Jalen Carter, what are you doing, man? Spitting on the other team's quarterback and getting himself ejected right before the game essentially starts, before the first snap. Eagles still hung on, though, to beat the Cowboys in the NFL opener last night. It's kind of a missed opportunity for the Cowboys there. You get Jalen Carter out of the game. You have all those drops towards the end by CeeDee Lamb to try and get ahead. You had the Miles Sanders fumble before the rain delay. I feel like there are some Cowboys fans that are encouraged by how they played, but also that's a missed opportunity. You probably needed to turn that into a win based on the circumstances. Royals got a victory last night. Bobby Witt Jr. was the hero. Solo homer in the 8th inning to break a tie, and they got a 4-3 win. 2 games back in the wild card, trying to do some damage against the Twins this weekend. Cardinals take on the Giants tonight, trying to climb back to 500 and finish the season strong, and we'll see what they can do tonight as first pitch is at 7:15. Ultimate news dump by Caitlin Clark last night. Right as the Eagles and Cowboys were ready to kick off, Caitlin says, I'm out for the season. (875-KTGR) to call or text us. Obviously, she's been dealing with that groin injury for a lot of this year, and there's not a lot of the season left in the WNBA, and so, like, out for the season doesn't mean as much as it would have a couple of months ago. Like they only got like 3 games left, but still, like
okay.
It was like Caitlin Clark just dropping in right before everyone's ready to watch football. Like, oh, by the way, I'm done for the year. Wow.
Hey, that's just the PR of it. That's what you do. That's the news dump when other stuff is going on, I suppose.
Fever are fighting for a playoff spot. And of course, they've been riddled by injuries, as you know, Sophie Cunningham's been out for about half the season with injury and is missing the rest of the year. So see if they can hang on, but maybe they feel like they missed out on an opportunity themselves with some bad luck and some injuries that really held them back. So, hey.
Yeah, there's
see.
a lot of hype coming into the year for sure.
Yeah, especially from us because we're officially Fever fans now.
We are. That was our, that was a very unique take too. Most people didn't.
No.
Most people out there didn't have that as their take, as their, as the team they pulled for. But we sure did.
No.
We had to be unique.
That's right. Most people were out on Caitlin Clark. I know. I want to root for a different WNBA team.
That's what most people were saying, but not us.
No.
We weren't going to do that.
No, we stayed on the straight and narrow. We held our ground. We're like Indiana, even though we're a Phoenix-based
all the way
sports show, and we should have
that
talking
too.
Mercury, but who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. Sophie got traded. What can we do? 875 KTGR.
We had to roll with the punches.
Yeah,
had to.
Exactly. Call or text us here with your score predictions for Mizzou, Kansas, and Chiefs, Chargers. 573-875-5847. Also, we're live on YouTube. You can leave a comment, and we'll get to it there at KTGR Sports. We've got Trey texting in. First quarter will be shaky. What you'd expect in a rivalry game.
Yeah.
Tigers seize control and don't look back in the third quarter. 14-point win. Defense and Hardy shine.
What was the score?
He didn't give what he said. 14-point win.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I would be thrilled. That nothing would make me happier. Even if it does have to be that kind of slow start where then you maybe score the late touchdown to pull away. That is better than this thing being in the balance in the final moments, which it may very well be. I mean, that could be the way that this plays out too. But oh boy, I would love a double-digit win because it at least means they're up a possession before they score another one. In some form or fashion, I would love that to be the outcome because I don't know if I can take it if it's not. Although, as you'll see with my score prediction, I'm not entirely sure this thing ends up being more than a one-possession game. I think it's going to be close.
I think for a lot of the game it will.
Yeah.
Adam says Mizzou 38, Kansas 13. Oh, boy. That would... Mizzou fans would run circles around that, I tell you. If either team gets a blowout here, that is...
Yeah, stop saying either team. Mizzou can't get blown out of this out of their own stadium.
No, but I'm just saying hypothetically.
I'm thinking about that. What was the score of the last Tennessee game where, you come in and I think Mizzou was favored. I can't really remember. But
are you talking 2013 when they were here?
No. The most recent one that happened.
Mizzou, Tennessee?
A couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that Mizzou won
Tennessee.
Here. That Mizzou won, and they were...
It got lopsided by the end of it. That would be my dream for this game. Is like, it's compelling, competitive, and then Mizzou's kind of starting to pull away, and you're still questioning. I remember that game. I was still kind of questioning. Like, come on, Tennessee's going to counterpunch. Surely enough, they're going to counterpunch. And then Mizzou just kind of kept pouring it on and pulled away eventually. That would be my dream game script for tomorrow. I'm not predicting that. That's not going to be how my final score prediction is reflected, but that's what I would love to see.
That'd be something like... That'd be harder for me to fathom because Tennessee that year was a lot more capable of giving you a spurt of like 14 or 17 points out of the gate and you don't know what hit you. And you're like, whoa. So like
more capable than Kansas though? Because we don't know that Kansas isn't capable of that.
We kind of do.
Why? What makes you say that though? What data makes you say that?
That Tennessee offense was electric that year. And look,
totally understand.
Not saying that Jalen Daniels is a bad quarterback. I just don't know if fully that offense has the same type of juice that Tennessee team did. I know we're just comparing it to that Tennessee. I'm not saying that Kansas can't give counter punches, but to that degree, I'm not sure. So if Mizzou goes up 14 or 20 at any point, I don't actually see a way back for, and I'll actually say that for either team. Like, if you get up a couple of touchdowns, say, or even into the 17-point range, somewhere like that, that's going to be hard to rebound from.
Well, I agree with that. I don't know how that disagrees with my premise of like that Tennessee game was 13-7 at half. I mean, it was not a game that you thought was going to be 36-7 when it ended. And so even at halftime, I know coming into that game, and Mizzou, I'm looking back, was ranked 8th in the country. Tennessee was 17th. Coming into that game, I was like, this is going to be such a fight, even if Mizzou was a slight favorite. And then it's 13-7 and a half, and you're like, man, they're playing well, but this is a 6-point game, and there's a long way to go. And then by the time it's over, it's like, what was I ever worried for? 36-7. Holy smokes.
Right.
That's the vibe that I would love to see from this game.
Okay.
But I will say, we don't know that Kansas is not explosive. Like, if anything, they've shown us that they are. 14 points in the first quarter against Fresno, 29 first quarter points against, I get it's Wagner, but they went 14-15 and had 29 at the half. Like, in the two pieces of data that we have on this offense, they have been an explosive offense that can jump out and do some things quickly. I certainly hope that that's not the case in this one. If you look up and it's 14-0 Kansas, something went very, very wrong on at least two sides of the football.
We'll see. Call or text us, 875-KTGR. I think we need to bring in old Jay on the KTGR hotline.
No, wait a minute.
What?
I don't think we can, because he said he's not calling in anymore and doing any of his special tricks. So I'm sure he's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be surprised to learn that he's with us to join us.
Well, old Jay, are you there?
I am. Hello, gentlemen.
Whoa, that's Brendan. Wow.
I must eat my words.
So it's funny that I had to think of how I started the original story time. Because like I said, I'm going old school and no gimmick is off limits. Yeah. So,
of course, that's the one he brings
back. Ladies and gentlemen,
back.
boys and girls, children of all ages, everybody, let's sit around, grab your carpet squares, spot on the floor. Let's have a little story time. This rivalry is old. It is older than your parents and you and your grandparents. Add them all their ages together. It's that old, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be fun. We've been waiting for this. They've been dodging us. They got mad at us because we actually left, even though they tried first, but nobody wanted them because they're little Jayhawks and they suck. So, what are we looking at Saturday? This is what we're looking at. Poor little Jalen Daniels, he's going to be treated like a rag doll. Little Trotter, everywhere Daniels goes, oh, there's Trotter. Oh, hey, how you doing? Smack in the ground. Goes to the left, smack in the ground. Goes to the right, smack in the right. Oh, we're not even talking about the defensive ends. They're going to keep him in that little box that he's not going to want to stay in. This is going to be big. This is going to be huge for the program. This is the coming out. This is going to be the true coming out game for Hardy and the Bo Show. 35-17. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mr. Brightside is going to be played like 80 times during the game. KU is going to hate that song as much as I hate the trumpets. 35-17, MIZ. Gentlemen, let's have some fun, and let's hear that song so many times.
Hey, there it is. Old Jay on the KTGR hotline with story time. Needed to bring it back.
35-17.
35-17. There you go.
He did say, I think he even told us last year, he's like, I will be calling for the Kansas game. That will be happening. So that was no surprise.
It went dormant for a little bit, but there are exceptions.
He's here when it counts, and it counts for this one. So 35-17, I would sanction that score and call it a winner in my book. Yes. Give me all the multi-touchdown predictions that you can muster, guys, because like I said, I'm not going to give one. That's not going to be the way that I approach this, because I want, like, I don't really respect them, but my stance is typically respect your opponent in the way that you approach it. Old Jay took a different approach in the way that he described how Trotter is going to handle Jalen Daniels. But I will take the approach of responsibility when it comes to understanding that this is going to be a fight. And if it's not, I'll be pleasantly surprised that Mizzou can coast. But I will be approaching it with a little bit of a different mindset than old Jay. But I love to hear it. I still loved hearing the confidence in his voice.
Just remember, Brendan, it's just the players that have to have the mindset of respect your opponent. You don't have to, just so you know. You don't have to.
Nope. It's important for me to do it as well, because you just never know. You just never know when you can become bulletin board material out there in the ether. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be on your P's and Q's.
But that's the only thing is that if Mizzou loses, then you'd be clipped off afterwards. But that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, I haven't ever wavered from saying Mizzou's going to win this game. I just think the margin in a rivalry game like this, when you haven't played it for 14 years and both sides are anticipating it the way that they are, and it comes at a point in the season that's different than usual. So normally you know all about your strengths and weaknesses as a team. You think you do right now, but your schedule will let you know if you were right about those things. We don't have that chance. This is you come in thinking the kind of football team that you are, and you try to play to your strengths and mitigate your weaknesses. Everybody's got them. But for this game, it's the first test. It's the first real test of the season, and it happens to be, depending on your perspective, among the most important, right? I would say that there are other games, conference games, that are a little bit higher on that scale if you're talking CFP dreams. But this game is important for a different reason, and then still kind of for the same reasons. So it goes from 0 to 100. You had such a nice gradual ramp up to last year's schedule. And I get it. All these games are at home. That's nice. But there's a quick adjustment that's going to be needed on the fly after, okay, here's what they threw at us in the first series that we did expect it and it happened anyway, or we didn't expect it. Those sorts of things that on the fly, it's the first time that you're facing an FBS opponent, and it's Kansas right away.
Call or text us 875-KTGR with your score predictions for Mizzou, Kansas tomorrow. All right. What is it, Brendan? What is it?
And I want to look before I give this number out to see what the total has been, because it's been kind of low in the 50s, I think, most of the week. And I want to see if that's changed.
It's come down from 53
come a little bit.
And
it's 50.5.
Oh, 50. Oh, okay.
I've got it at 50.5, which is what I thought it was yesterday too.
Okay.
I don't feel super confident that this game's going to go over, but technically my prediction says it will at what it's currently listed at 50.5 at unnamedsportsbook.com. I'm going Mizzou 27, Kansas 24. I think it's a one-score game and a field goal game at that. Now, does that mean that, Robert Meyer comes up with a huge kick or a couple of them? Or does it mean that he misses a PAT and that's how you get to 27? I don't know. I don't have all the answers for you. But
look, he didn't miss the PAT last week. I don't have too much.
I don't either. I'm just saying that, when you come up with a score prediction of 27, you go, okay, how do you get there? A couple field goals is probably the most likely way, which means that you're kid's going to have to come through. And I think Drink trusts him to do so. 27-24 will be a lot closer than some people were expecting me to predict. I don't know. But it's what I think happens. I think it's going to be a back and forth game. Mizzou may even trail at some point. If they don't, it'll still feel like they could at any moment. It's going to be nip and tuck, but they're going to find a way in the end. And that's really all that matters this week. It's all about the two words, the greatest two words in the American language. Mizzou money line is really all we're looking at this week. I don't care about the spread. Yeah, technically I would have Kansas covering that number with my score prediction, but that doesn't matter. Mizzou just wins the game and they get it done in the end.
Landon just texted in the exact thing that you said.
Mizzou money line?
Well, even like a wise man once said, the two greatest words in the English language. Mizzou money line. He said that too. And so,
well, he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. And it's one of those where it's do you even bother betting on it because of the fact that, they're favored and it's juice ain't worth the squeeze? You do, because it's coming, right? This is an exception that I would make to a sports gambler's perspective. Maybe I should have asked Rob Veno about this a little bit. But I think that in your heart what's going to come in this game. They don't ask by how much. They just ask, did you win? Maybe I just coined that, but just win the damn game. And I think they will. I know they will.
That's all that will matter in the grand scheme of things for either side. Point spread will be forgotten by the time this comes around. But I actually have a score that has Mizzou doing quite well in both avenues there.
Good.
I don't have it as high scoring as you do. I actually think both offenses maybe struggle a little bit. Might have to make it a little bit uglier. It's not to say that they can't do well, but they might have to get their yards in a more hard-nosed, ugly type of way. And I think that favors Mizzou with who they've got manning their running game at the moment. So for me, I do think both teams will probably have chances to score in the red zone, but probably leave one or two of those on the table and don't quite get what they want. But Mizzou will have a better ability, to me, to run the football, get in those situations, control possessions, and eventually come away with a 23-16 win, Brendan.
Oh,
that's my pick.
Yeah. That
might be a lot of field goals. And so Robert Meyer will be important. I don't know whether he kicks a field goal in like a crucial spot to take the lead or anything like that, but I could foresee a chance where, at the end of the half, Mizzou tries to get in range and they maybe trust the young guy to
I would love that.
To give him some points towards the end in the swing 8 period, try to get that going. So that could very well happen.
23-16 is a good solid football score. It was the score of the Rams Super Bowl win over the Titans in 2000. One of the first football games that I can remember really being invested in and being jubilant at the result. And bookending, we come from that moment in my football viewing career to this one. I would be ready for that. 23-16. You might be right. Like I said, technically my score predicts over, but I wouldn't play over in this game because I do think it's going to be a little bit more defensive oriented. But something tells me that it speeds up a little bit. It opens up a bit in the second half. Low scoring first half, potentially in particular, as the teams kind of try to get a feel for one another. But I think as the game wears, Andy, so too does the KU defense against Ahmad Hardy. I do think ultimately he's going to have to be a key figure in this. And if he doesn't get off to a great start, I don't want to see Kirby Moore and Eli Drinkwitz abandon the run. I don't think they will. I think they know how much that can be their bread and butter. But I think he can wear down a defense as the game goes. And that might be the way that they approach this one.
Call or text us with your score predictions, 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show. Mizzou, Kansas tomorrow. We'll be on with the Yuengling Tiger Game Day show at 11:30 tomorrow, so do not miss that. And then, of course, kickoff at 2:30. Before then, though, the Chiefs will play their first game tonight in Brazil. We're only about an hour and a half away from that getting started. Who you got there? We'll give our score predictions for that, our picks of the week at 5:45 as well on The Big Show.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Everyone has their go-to game day outfit. Maybe it's a comfy black and gold hoodie or that old hat you wear because it still hasn't been to a losing game. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you really want to stand out on game day, talk to the team at Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia. Rock your favorite team's colors with a beautifully designed, one-of-a-kind custom piece of jewelry from Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia, our hometown jeweler. MIZBETZ.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering, and with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
My name is Scott Concanon, and I've been a client of Phyllis Nichols for the past 5 years. We currently have policies with 2 automobiles, homeowners, and life insurance for my fiance. I chose Phyllis Nichols because she gave me great pricing at the time I needed it. She was able to give me a quote basically within 10 minutes of me asking for it. We've just increased our policies within her company since then. Phyllis is one of the few agents I've ever run into that will go to bat for you. I think there's a reason why they call it the 12-round agent.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness.
I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at apiprojectfitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
Epic Bug Battle Raps. Brown Recluse versus Tick. Fight!
Yo, Tick, you think you're sly, but you're an amateur fighter. I'm a brown recluse spider, spitting venom, cause I'm a better biter. You codependent loser, latching on skin. I wish we weren't related. You a lame arachnid. So sit back and relax while I bust on your bloodbath. I weave a web of truth. You're just needing a feeding and getting fat. Be ready for defeat when we meet, cause all it takes to kill you is a couple minutes inside a dryer on high heat. Listen, Charlotte, while you're weaving your web, I'll be burying my body inside another host to go and get fed. You want to talk dead? Who are you? Once you're found, all a human has to do is grab a shoe. Now you're squished, you won't be missed in your wish. Instead of 6 eyes, you had 9 lives and carry disease like Lyme. When people pop their shirts off and come looking for me, who's really the better bug when it comes to hide and seek?
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
There you are, standing on the edge of your pristine P platform from Crutch's Custom Exteriors. But as you enjoy the sights and sounds of your Freedom Stream, you can't help but notice your deck. It's looking small. It's nothing a little landscaping can't fix. You did let things get out of control down there. It's like a jungle. Keep your Crutch's deck looking its best and biggest with landscaping by Crutch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Oh boy, on our texter, 314 texts in, Mizzou 3, Kansas 2, old school football game. Are you sure you want to win that way? Are you sure? I know it's Kansas, but are you sure?
I'll win anyway. I'll win anyway other than a forfeit.
That is going to be...
You can give me whatever score you want.
That game, I don't know. I would not enjoy myself watching that game. I guess it would feel good to see Mizzou win it, but I would not enjoy watching that. Gotta say. Please be better than that.
I'd actually be fine with it. It would be epic. That would be some kind of storylines. I mean, there would be a lot coming out of that one.
That? You want that? I don't know. That'd be something. But that feel like 10-6, and you would be upset about 10-6, I think.
There's not a single score that if Mizzou has more points, I would not be elated about.
Right.
Not a single score you could come up with.
2-1? Just can't.
Is that a thing? Could you do that? If it's possible, then bring it on.
Wait, hang on. Yeah, you can get it. That'd be on a safety. That'd be on a 1-point safety on like an extra point. It would have to be. It is very, very unique. But I remember seeing it in the NFL once.
But if it's an extra point, the final score can't be 2-1.
It's true. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think. So, anyway.
Call or text us 875-KTGR. So 3-2. That's the 2-0 could also happen. You never know. But 2-1 can't. But give us your score prediction. 573-875-KTGR. How about for the Chiefs tonight? I believe the inactives should be coming out here very soon. But tonight, Chiefs are favored by 3 points. And I'm sorry, I just don't like that that's the case. It seems disrespectful. So I don't know.
I don't know about disrespectful. They're those sports books generally have a good idea what they're doing, and I think that the Chiefs last year weren't often blowing teams away. Remember, last year was the year of it didn't matter who you were playing. It could be the Raiders. It could be the bit. It didn't matter. You were going to beat them by like a point or 3. That was the story of the Chiefs during much of the regular season last year. So I think it speaks to neutral site. I think it speaks to game 1. So there's a lot of uncertainty just in how guys will be physically. And like the fact that the Chargers, there's expectations around them with a good head coach, year 2 of Harbaugh. They've got their quarterback. They've got a new running back. Like, divisional game. I don't know. I think the spread feels appropriate. I think it feels like right on to what we might end up seeing.
Got 573 texting, or this is Seamus actually in Columbia. Mizzou on top 28-13. KC on top 31-7. Watch out for Brashard Smith. Ooh. I would hope so. I don't have a lot of confidence in that part of it, but that'd be at least what the Chiefs want. That's why I'm kind of interested in seeing the inactives, because I think he might even be a candidate of being like a healthy scratch. I don't know. Like, we'll see. But.
Yeah, he very well may not be active. That wouldn't shock me. Jaden Blue, the rookie for the Cowboys, was inactive last night. Brashard Smith was a 7th-round pick. Kareem Hunt is back. Is Elijah Mitchell banged up, or is he good?
No, he should be fine.
Status is. Okay.
I would expect that those are the 3 running backs that the Chiefs make active, and so yeah, we'll see.
I'd be surprised if Brashard Smith, unless he's got a special teams role, would be active tonight, actually. But we'll see.
But
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I was going to get some other text here. Adam says Chiefs 31, Chargers 17.
Okay, let me play a quick fun game with you. If I had 50 points to allocate across Mizzou and Kansas City this weekend, how would you play that based on the scripts that you think we're going to see for both games?
I did it exactly right. I got to say, love that you said 50, because my score predictions for both would evenly disperse it out between the
so you went 23-16.
I went 23-16
for Mizzou.
Mm-hmm. I'm going 27-17 for the Chiefs.
Okay. But you don't have either game being particularly close.
No.
And if your goal is to win both games, which again, like I think most people would love to see, then that's reasonable, because you're going, okay, I think it's going to be lower scoring for the Mizzou game. I obviously have to allocate more resources to the Missouri game, and I think it could actually go both ways. I've got under in the game tonight as well. Chiefs Chargers. That's that field in Brazil that people have been kind of saying, last time they played there was kind of slippery and you had some issues. It could be last season when the Chiefs and Chargers played, the finals were like 36-27 total points. And I kind of buy into that potentially being the case again here, where it's a lower scoring affair. I'd give at least 31 to Mizzou. Mm-hmm. I mean, frankly, I'd give all 50, because this is week 1 for the Chiefs, and I'm obviously a much more big Mizzou homer than I am a Chiefs homer. But realistically, I think the Chiefs could win this game with 20. I think that's a real possibility. 20-16.
Yeah,
that might be a little bit low. I might go like 23.
Doable, though. I think it's doable.
Give me 23-20 Chiefs. I think it's going to be right on that 3, right on that spread.
Okay.
I don't think it's an unfair spread. I think there will be some good things we see from the downfield passing attack, but I also wonder, like, a preseason where Hollywood Brown was a little banged up, is he going to immediately make a big impact? If not, you're looking to Juju. You're going to be looking to Kelsey anyway. Worthy's going to have to be that guy in the passing game. I just think that there's going to be some sort of, you get it in fits and starts, and it may not be consistent. You'll have a few field goals tonight, I think, on both sides. 23-20. I'll say the Chiefs win it, but I'm not really looking at that point spread either. Neither of these big games for the Missouri teams, am I really like amped up about the spread being a value in these cases?
I mean, I like the Mizzou one less because it's larger, but no, I like that Chiefs -3. Chiefs 24-21 says Shane. He also says Mizzou 28, Kansas 20. Alex texting in, Mizzou wins 31-24. Chiefs win 25-21. 25 would be a fun number. I don't know if it'd be that fun. It's a lot of field goals there to get to that. But and that's tough to get to just in general when it comes to the number of possessions that you need to like have the amount of field goals and touchdowns to get to that. So we'll see with that number. I still, that would be a cover though. Like, it's not going to take much to cover that. Like, the Chiefs went to LA last year. That was the game that they lost Rashee Rice in the middle of it, and they still were able to come out with a 7-point win, which didn't feel all that. It felt close the whole way, but it was still a 7-point win. And so I feel like the Chiefs can still score enough touchdowns in this game to feel like, 7, 8 points. Maybe the Chargers are at that margin and they feel like they're still in it because it's still technically a one-score game, but I think they'll have enough points to get above 3 in order to win and cover this one. We'll see.
Yeah, it just feels like in the, divisional matchup, kind of like that rivalry aspect we talked about with Mizzou KU. I think it could be close.
No, very well could be. They had one-score games, and the Chiefs had a lot of them last year. 37-17, Jason texted in, says the Chiefs will win by that score. Lots of football to consume this weekend. And, of course, we've got takes on them all. We've got our picks of the week coming up next. Essentially a brand new season now, and we'll explain how that came to be when we return with our picks of the week for the first full weekend of college and NFL football after this on The Big Show.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon, I'm Ben Hermes, and this live local sports center is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Well, the border showdown finally gets down tomorrow between the Tigers and the Jayhawks. This will be the 121st meeting all time between the two foes, but the first one since 2011. Mizzou comes into this one 1-0 on the season, while Kansas comes in 2-0. The renewal of this historic rivalry is set to kick off from Columbia at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. The Chiefs kick off their season tonight in Sao Paulo, Brazil, against the Los Angeles Chargers. Final injury report hasn't came out yet, but defensive lineman Omar Norman Lott is still listed as questionable for the Chiefs in that game. Kansas City's quest for a 5th Lombardi Trophy starts tonight in South America. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. And the Cardinals are back in action today after having yesterday off hosting the Giants. St. Louis is 1 game below 500 and 5.5 games back at the last NL wildcard spot. Michael McGreevy will get the start on the mound. First pitch is at 7:15. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Steve's Pest Control. Steve's Pest Control has been solving pest problems and protecting your property all over central Missouri, including the entire Lake of the Ozarks, for over 37 years. If you have a pest problem, let Steve and his team of experts be your friend in pest control. Steve'sPestControl.com.
I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson. Looks like we do have some light rain moving out of the way throughout the rest of the evening tonight. By tomorrow morning, temperatures are going to be starting off in the upper 40s, so a little bit of a chilly one, but you don't have to worry about any sort of rainfall cloud cover for that kickoff. Mizzou versus KU going to be a great afternoon for that game. Temperatures in the mid-70s by the afternoon hours. Looks like after that, we'll be staying dry with a gradual warm-up on the way. I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
All the hard hits.
He's under pressure, and down he goes. Inside the 20-yard line.
All the jaw-dropping moments.
Makes a man miss. 30, 20, near sideline, 10, 5, touchdown.
KTGR is your home for the high school football game of the week.
Oh, my goodness.
Join us this weekend as the Rockbridge Bruins host the Smith Cotton Tigers.
Coverage starts with high school kickoff, Friday night at 6 on Mid-Missouri's Total Sports Station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They're my car people. I'm proud to say it. And if you go to Lee's Tire Company, you'll be proud to say it too, because whenever I bring my car into Lee's Tire Company, I know that I'm getting an honest assessment of what my car needs. If I need new tires, I know they've got an incredible selection to choose from, and they run specials every single month to put money back in your pocket if you need those new tires. And also, they've been family owned and operated in Mid-Missouri for decades, and they treat their customers the same way they treat their families. So if you haven't experienced the Lee's Tire Company difference yet, go and check them out at Lee'sTireCompany.com. If you need new tires, you can browse through their extensive catalog, see which ones you need for your vehicle, and then go check out one of their 3 locations. They're on the Business Loop in Columbia, they're at University Garage right by the MU campus, and they have a location in Centralia that you can check out. Lee's Tire Company, they are the place to go for tires in Mid-Missouri. Go check them out at Lee'sTireCompany.com, because if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com.
We're moving faster and faster these days with limited time to make an impact on potential customers. Hi, this is Jimmy at Pro Designs. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked with companies to build strong brands. At Pro Designs, our team can create a vehicle wrap to drive market share, growth, and profits. Connect with your customers on the go, on the road, and on the job site.
Visit us on the web at PRODEZIGNS.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street and I-70.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Save big money now at Menards. Patriot Lighting outdoor motion sensing wall lights bring on-demand bright illumination, adding safety and security to your outdoor area. Choose from a variety of styles and functions like the 3-head motion sensor floodlight, which has a powerful 5,500 lumen brightness. Save big on all Patriot security lights. Also, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
1851 Underground is one of those cool joints the family would enjoy going even if the food wasn't good. But it is good. Really good. Famous burgers like the 1851, topped with pulled pork and hickory bacon, or the fire and ice chicken sandwich with Cholula honey and pepper jack cheese. The Baja fish tacos with crispy fried cod and avocado cream sauce is another favorite. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground in the historic Brick District in Fulton. Find them on Facebook and Instagram.
You've already met a few members of the Family Pawn family. Now it's time to meet the newest one. Family Pawn's South Columbia location is just off South Providence. And just like every family pawn, it's got a personality all its own. Different jewelry, different tools, different gadgets and gear. That's the beauty of the family. No two stores are exactly alike. So after you stop by your favorite, swing by South Columbia. It's your newest Family Pawn store to explore.
Rock your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
Always ahead of the curve? Seem to know what's going to happen? Like a prophet? Prove it, Nostradamus, with Profit Shares. Predict the outcome of every black and gold game or whoever your favorite team is. It's all at Profit Shares, and it doesn't cost a thing to play. Make your predictions risk-free and win prizes like gift cards to Amazon, Chick-fil-A, and other favorites. Or donate your winnings to charities. Contests are open now. Play for free at ProfitShares.com. PROPHET shares.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Back here on the big show, KTGR and the KTGR app. It is Picks of the Week time once again. It's our first weekend of the season of both college and NFL football to pick from. Finally got back this dynamic, so can't wait for that. And also can't wait because it's basically a new season now. 2 weeks in, myself, Brendan, and the producers, all 5-5. How did it happen, Brendan? I don't know.
Well, it happened last week by me and you kind of picking up the mantle a little bit, going 3-2. Producers went 2-3, pretty evenly matched so far, and I think I'm ready for a charge. So I'm going to try to do a little bit better than 3-2 this week, I reckon.
I was kicking myself for not doing better than 3-2 the way it happened. So I'll try the same. How do we do this though? Who goes first, Brendan? Are we?
Oh, I'll let you pick the order.
Okay. I actually like the dynamic that we've had over the last couple of weeks. I'll make the producers go first, and then I'll go second. Brendan goes third. How about that?
All right. Okay.
All right. So here are our picks, or our games that we can choose from for the weekend. Baylor at SMU, Iowa at Iowa State, Ole Miss at Kentucky, South Florida at Florida, Arizona State at Mississippi State, Michigan at Oklahoma, Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech, and of course, Kansas at Mizzou. Now the NFL games: Steelers at Jets, Giants at Commanders, Buccaneers at Falcons, 49ers at Seahawks, Lions at Packers, Ravens at Bills. Monday night game is Vikings at Bears. And then, of course, tonight's game in Brazil, Chiefs against the Chargers. Producers, start us off.
All righty. Well, I'll go with a pick that I felt pretty confident in coming in here. So I'll take them off the board. I'll take Oklahoma, Michigan. They're -5.5. I liked what I saw last week out of Mateer. I think more will be the same with the Sooners at home.
You're even just having to give 5 points with this one. It's -5 on our sheet here. And so that seems like the right side. I wasn't really thinking about Michigan there coming into this. So I'll stay away from that as well. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think they win this game. I think they actually are a step better at this point in the season, at least, than the Bills are. And Lamar Jackson will... Both Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen will look well, but Lamar Jackson will make just the play or two more to win this game. He's a good regular season quarterback, so he'll win this one. I'll take Ravens -1.
Interesting. On the road, too. I'm considering the Bills here, but I don't know if I want to start things off that hot with a fade. No, there's a pick on the board that I do really like, and neither of you guys took it to begin. So I will say that retribution is coming in Lexington, Kentucky. Ole Miss at Kentucky. They're -9, but you remember last year, Kentucky beating Ole Miss in Oxford. That is a game that you look back on if you're Ole Miss and say, man, if we had just handled our business there, very well could have been in the college football playoff with a 10-2 record. So I think that with the way Austin Simmons looked in the first game of the season for the Rebels, they will win this thing by double digits. Give me Ole Miss -9.
All right, producers, next pick.
Well, I'll go with one of the rivalry games on this sheet. One that this side I like better of in this one. I'll take Iowa State -3.5 over Iowa. I was not very impressed with Iowa last week against Albany. And Iowa State's looked pretty good to start off the season. They have it in Ames, so I think that'll help them play out, and I like the Cyclones in that one.
It's probably the red side, too. I don't think that's a bad pick. We're doing our picks of the week here on the Big Show KTGR. This is actually a pick that I feel more confident in, so I'm honestly not sure why I didn't pick it first. Chiefs are going to win by a lot. I believe they will beat the Chargers definitely by more than 3 points, which is what the spread is. Disrespect to the Chiefs, I think, as well. But they will, even if it is only a touchdown game, that very easily covers this 3-point spread. I think the Chiefs will come in. There's STP, Brendan, on that side, too, I think. There really is. So Chiefs -3.
Yeah, a little bit of something to prove with that spread. I'm calling my shot now. Andy, you are going to push that pick. I think that is one of the classic Andy picking a field goal margin, and the Chiefs will win by 3 is my prediction there.
Why would you do that? Why would you say
Well,
that?
because I feel like
it?
I've been right before calling my shot, and I just feel like every time Andy picks one of those games that doesn't have a hook on it with a field goal margin, he ends up pushing it. And so that's my prediction for that one. I've got another game that I like in college football, another SEC program involved in it. I think Mississippi State is liable to upset Arizona State outright in a home game this weekend. It's not the same Arizona State team that went to the college football playoff, and it's not the same Mississippi State team that was without its starting quarterback, Blake Shapen, for much of last season. Mississippi State could lose it by 6 at home and still cover the +6.5, so I will take the Bulldogs in this one.
Interesting. I was thinking about the Arizona State side there.
Go for it. That's
right. Go ahead.
I'm very confident in that one, but I thought you guys were going to steal the Ole Miss one, so I decided to jump on that first.
That's all right. Producers, third round here.
Well, I'll flip to the NFL with this one. This just seems, I don't know, there's always some writing on the wall with this. I'll take the Bears at home underdogs against the Vikings. I think the Bears, it always happens. There's a lot of hype around them, and then they'll go into the season. They'll win their first game, and there's a lot of question marks with the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy at quarterback this year. I don't really know how that went since towards ACL didn't really play last year. But I think the Bears, they'll start off hot. I think they'll win this one. And then who knows from there, they might just something goes wrong and then they dwindle to a 5-win, 6-win season. Who knows? But I feel like they win the first game of the season, or at least start off hot more years than not.
We're doing our picks of the week here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. This is an intriguing game. I believe they played this one last year. I'm fairly certain that it was Virginia Tech that came out. No, it was Vanderbilt who won this game last year. It was in Nashville. This time it's in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech's a 2-point favorite, which is kind of enticing. It's not a whole lot to cover there, but I actually think Vanderbilt will win this game, and they're getting 2 points with this. Both of these teams, Virginia Tech lost last week to a tough South Carolina squad. Thought they held up for most of the game, especially defensively, but I don't think they'll even hold up at home against Diego Pavia. I'll say Vanderbilt wins this one outright, and the +2 is just a bonus there. So I'll take Vanderbilt +2.
Yeah, I'm not going to fade you on that pick because after Diego Pavia said they're going to win a national championship, I decided I don't really want to pick against him until they do let us down and lose one. So I kind of like the Vandy side in that one as well. Nobody touching Mizzou just yet, -6.5. That's just such a tough number when really all we care about is the is the money line this week when it comes to the Tigers. I'll stay away from that one as well, but I'm sticking in the SEC. As I said last week, I feel comfortable here. I'm not entirely sure I like this number, but I do like the team, and I think Florida is going to roll South Florida, even though we saw good things last time from the Bulls in their win over Boise State. I just think Boise State was highly overrated, and Florida could put up a big number here against USF. Now, they're minus 18, so they're going to have to put up a big number to get me to cash this one. But I will take Florida at home. DJ Lagway, big performance. Gators minus 18 against South Florida.
Alrighty. That's minus 18 is a lot, and it's just almost calling my name to just fade you and take that one, but I won't. I'll just go another one that you pick. I'll fade you, Brendan. I really like Arizona State this week. I really do.
Ooh, fun.
I don't. They're just speaking to me a little bit. I really like them. Mississippi State, sure, they went on the road and beat Southern Miss, and they played pretty good in that one. But I don't know. I just have a feeling about the Sun Devils this week, so I'll go with Arizona State.
You got to admit, Brendan, there is a coaching mismatch there. Like, even though Arizona State's going on the road, I just don't know about Jeff Levy. I'm not sure. But
well, I don't think we know for sure that there is a mismatch. You know, he's still pretty green in his tenure here, and last year was a losing situation that he was in. So I'm undecided on Levy, but I don't think I necessarily know that he stinks, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just been I just see a bunch of clips of Kenny Dillingham, and I think, oh, man, I want to play for that guy. I can't, though. Eligibility's gone. Big show.
That's why.
Yeah. KTGR and the KTGR. That's exactly why. Doing our picks of the week here on this first weekend of September. I'm going to do it, guys. Like, let's not be scared here. Mizzou, minus 6.5. Give it to me. Going to take it. Let's go. I would love to see a blowout. Like, I would, too. Come on. So I hope if that happens, then I'm the benefit.
Please. Yes. I hope it happens. In any other situation, the number for Kansas really does point out to me as one that's favorable just because I think it's a close game. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take Kansas in the picks of the week. This is too important for that. So you won't catch me playing any mind games there. But I'm glad somebody took Mizzou because that's obviously what we're my pick now coming up in round 4. I stuck pretty exclusively to the Southeast Conference thus far, and I think I'm officially out of options unless I wanted to fade Oklahoma, which I don't think I want to do. I think the Sooners end up on the upside of that game by at least a touchdown against an overrated Michigan team in my estimation. So I will move to the NFL. I am going to go ahead and fade the Ravens pick there. I think the Bills win the game at home, and they're getting a point. So give me Josh Allen, my guy, and the Buffalo Bills +1.
Cool. Producer's last pick here.
Alrighty. I think I'll go over to the NFL. You know what? I'll take the Buccaneers. I don't know why, but they just feel like these first week games in the NFL, there's always some wacky things that go on. There's some teams that should and shouldn't, that should win, that don't. There's some teams that win and they have no business even being there. It happens every year, but they're just a team that's speaking to me on this sheet. I think Baker will have similar success to last year. I don't know if he'll have as much success, but I think it'll be similar. It's hard because they're road favorites, but I'll take the Buccaneers.
That's been a hard one for me to figure out on this sheet. I didn't want to take
I couldn't possibly touch an NFC South game in week 1. I just wasn't going to do it.
Will not touch the other side there, even though the Falcons getting a couple points at home. That's actually not too bad if you wanted to do that. No, I will go with college for my final pick. I think Auburn got that win over Baylor last week on the road. And yeah, that probably says good things about Auburn. That we think about them a little bit more, I guess, positively than before. But then it also says kind of bad things about Baylor. I don't know if Baylor's that good. I think SMU rolls them. They're 2.5-point favorites at home against the Bears. I think SMU wins by at least a touchdown, probably more in this game.
Yeah, I don't really want to touch that one either, but I think your logic is sound when it comes to that pick. Trying to figure out, another weird practice report with Christian McCaffrey on Friday. He was limited Thursday. Does his potential lack of availability for San Francisco change things there? I just don't really trust Sam Darnold, so I'm not going with the Seahawks. Packers over the Lions. Everybody knows I like the Lions, but that -2 for the Packers at home feels like a pretty doable number after the Micah Parsons edition. I'm going to go with something completely off board, and this could end up being like just an absolute dumb pick. But it reminds me last night with the Cowboys keeping things close and honestly probably should have beat the Eagles. Everybody said going into that game, oh my gosh, Eagles are going to roll them. I kind of think I'm going to take the Giants +6. I think
not a bad pick. I like that. Actually, I like
think
it too.
That's a good number, right? I'm betting the team, not the number, or the number, not the team here. Excuse me. +6 for the Giants against the Commanders. I think the Giants, with the additions on defense, can maybe try to keep Jaden Daniels in check a little bit. We know that's a lot to ask. I also think Russell Wilson has a little bit of STP in him, and the combo between him and Malik Neighbors, and him throwing the Russ Wilson patented moon ball to one of the best receivers in the NFL has a chance to splash, I think, in week 1. So Giants, I'm going to say keep it close. And one of those weird ones that Ben was talking about that just sometimes you don't really see it coming, but then you're locked into a final possession that decides a game. I think the Giants may have a good showing in week 1, +6 at Washington Commanders.
No, I think that makes sense. That's a good way to finish it out. So Giants +6 for Brendan, his final pick, as we wrap up the picks of the week. And so we'll lock those in. We'll recap them when we come back on Monday, and we'll see who is in the lead after that, or if there is still a tie atop the leaderboard. All three of us in a tie this week. We'll see how it happens in week 3. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks to Rob Veno for joining us as well. Got high school football coverage coming your way in a couple of minutes. Rockbridge and Smith Cotton, our game of the week tonight. And don't forget, Yuengling Tiger Game Day show begins at 11:30 tomorrow before Mizzou and Kansas. We'll see you here on the big show on Monday. He's Brendan. He's producer Ben. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers.